guys and gals, now we're here from Drake Wing Gaming, a subbing man on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Leandros' Path. So before we jump into it, just want to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. Ignore. Oh, wait 1 second, y'all. This is the wrong version. Alright, y'all, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Let's see, right here. Okay. Leandros! You woke from your nightmare, drenched in sweat from your head to your feet. You couldn't stop shaking. Your body was on fire. You brought a hand up to your aching chest. If you didn't know any better, you would have expected a drummer was trapped inside your heart. What? A dream? The dream. It felt far too real to be just a nightmare. It was the exact same feeling you had back at the pool of the catacombs. You lifted your head and were hit with a sudden feeling of vertigo. Bile rose from your stomach, but you quickly pushed it back down. The whole room was swaying, or rather rocking. It was steady and smooth, but was making you feel sick. As you looked around, you found your surroundings were yet again unfamiliar to you. Yeah, okay. You select things, that's cool. That's an odd-looking lantern. Atop both the bedside tables was a covered candle, or what you first assumed was one. It emitted such a brilliant glow of light, yet you felt little to no heat. As you peered inside, you saw a glass-looking orb shining brilliantly. You had to turn away as your eyes began to hurt. What? How is this thing making light without fire? Inscribed in the base of the lantern was an insignia of a lizard breathing fire with the words, Ignatius's Incandescence. Encircling it, and just below that was a switch. You pressed it once and it turned off, then again and turned it back on. Witchcraft! You pressed the button several dozen more times, making the light vanish and reappear at your leisure. Perhaps it's a new invention from someone in Azite. They always seem to create the most fascinating things. Think. Light without flame. I wonder how it works. Yeah, I wonder how that works aboard a ship. They don't have electricity. What the hell? Weird. At the side of your bed was a chair pulled up close as though someone was just sitting in it. Strands of golden fur rested on top of and around it. Leandros, was he here recently? Hardwood boards covered the floors and walls, and every so often you heard the entire room creak. Am I aboard the ship? I don't remember ever reaching it. For a ship, though, it was quite comfortable looking. Well, almost indiscernible from just a regular room. The decor had elegance not that different from the castle. You nearly jumped out of the bed when you caught sight of a ferocious-looking wolf staring at you from the floor, though upon closer inspection it looked to be a rug. Not only was it frightening, it was certainly distasteful. Okay. You heard water echoing through the room and splashing against the sides. As you glanced out a large window, you saw only deep blue waves stretching on for miles. I don't see the sea gate. How far out are we? Or rather, how long have I been traveling? You thought you spied a small speck of land on the horizon, but as it began to grow larger, rising above the surface of the water, it turned out to be a whale. Water jutted out from the top of its head, and it dove back down. I know for sure I'm nowhere near Havana. Whales can't even get close to the city with the reef and the sea gate. Alright. Thoughts of the coronation flashed through your mind, and you looked around suddenly for signs of enemies. Ah! As you twisted to look around, a sharp pain jolted down your back. You removed the covers from your body and found gauze wrapped tightly around your entire torso. You were just about to pull at the knot that tied it all together when the door to the room opened. Oh my! Your aunt's mouth dropped to the floor, and she stood awestruck in the doorway. Eh? What's wrong? It's Jake! Jake? He's finally awake! Quick! Go get Leandros! Hurry! Marilyn scurried to your side while Esther peeked his head in. After picking his jaw off the floor, he scurried off. Oh, thank the heavens! You were hurt, and we thought we would lose you. It's... Tears welled up in her eyes as she began to bawl, her makeup running down her face as she went over to give you a hug. She wrapped her arms around you, and you yelped in pain. Oh my gosh! I'm so sorry! I'm just overcome with... I forgot! It's all right. The door slammed open, and there stood Leandros panting heavily. He ran over to you, and you braced yourself for what you assumed to be another hug. Only this time you stretched out your hands as he charged over. Second now, water time. Or not? No, that's automatic save. Okay. There we go. Okay, 1 second now. Oh, it is some good water. What is that? That is cherry lemon lime. Delicious. Alright. Hold! No hugging! You could hear his feet screech to a halt on the hardwood floor. Jake! He was doing his best to keep himself from leaping at you and hugging you, but finally gave up when he saw your condition. Esther trailed him from behind and entered the room as well. You're awake! The look of worry and concern drained from their faces in unison. As you looked at each of them closely, you noticed they looked well beyond exhausted with dark bags around their eyes. Leandros was the worst of them all. His mane was disheveled and unkempt. Even when he had just woken up, it never looked that bad. And his breath, had he been drinking? How long have I been asleep for? He still felt a bit groggy and stifled a yawn. Marilyn wiped the tears from her eyes with the sleeves of her coat. Jake, you've been asleep for a week now. We've been waiting for you to come to. A week? So then the assassins? They're far away now, still back in Havana. They won't get to you here. That's good to hear. You tried to pull yourself out of bed, but the pain across your back stopped you in your tracks. Careful there. Try not to move too much. You're still recovering. You looked back down at your bandage. Is it bad? Everyone's expression looked grim. Jake, I'm sorry. Even with all of our efforts, I still wasn't able to protect you yet again. It's okay. I'm still alive, aren't I? No, it's not okay. We almost lost you because of my negligence. It was only by the grace of the gods that one of the refugees on board was a medic. He was able to fix you up, but he told us that the damage was severe. There's a possibility you might never be able to move again or even wake up. Well, I'm not one to follow orders very well. You tried to laugh it off and brighten the mood, but it didn't help. Your comedic attempt howled out into silence. We're just glad you're okay. After everything that has happened, we couldn't bear to lose you as well. Somehow you managed to survive this ordeal, but the cost was great. You glanced towards the door, hoping another would arrive. Despite being surrounded by your loved ones, your father was still absent. He really is gone, isn't he? I wish I could say this is just a dream, but the pain I feel is too real. Jake, You don't need to say anything. Nothing will change the fact that he left me behind. This time for good. I should have just gone to him. I could have convinced him. Jake, your father was a stubborn man. I doubt any of us could have stopped him. You could have hauled him with you. That would mean exposing you to even more danger. We didn't have time. We needed to get you out of the castle. Your father placed all his hopes with you. He may be gone, but you are the true heir to the throne. The nation still needs you. It always comes back to what's good for the nation. What about what's good for me? Am I not a citizen? Am I not allowed to say a say in how I live my life? The coronation, this responsibility to be king. I never asked for this. I never wanted it. Anyone could rule a nation. There's so many out there that could easily take my place. My life has been wasted away for what? So that he had an easy way out of being king? Maybe that's all it was good for to him. You can't possibly mean that. Jake, he loved you. He wanted to still spend so much more time with you. To see you grow up happy and healthy. Is that truly what you believe? I wouldn't know. He's dead now. Rotting away in that stone prison. He went away from his duty. He ran away from me. He never even gave me a chance to say goodbye. And now, I'll never be able to see him again. Leave. Jake, just go. I need to be alone. Jake, I'm here for you. You know that, right? If you need anything at all, I'll be nearby. Damn it all. He stayed in bed and stared at the ceiling. It's like, water time. Several times through the day, someone knocked on your door, but you were quick to turn them away. The sun began to set and your stomach growled angrily. You slowly started to regret turning away those that came back for you, even if it was only to get something to eat. You hoped that someone would return soon. Jake! You remained silent. I'm coming in. You turned the covers over your head and pretended to be asleep as Leandros walked closer to the bed. He stopped for a moment, and you heard the clattering of plates and silverware as he placed something down on the table. You haven't had anything for 2 days. Please, at least eat this. The chair at your bedside groaned as Leandros took a seat. We'll be arriving in Valdenforth in a few days, and you will be taken to your aunt and uncle's estate. You'll be safe there. I won't be staying, though. There have been a few troubling disturbances as of late across the kingdom. Things that I must investigate. I know right now might not be the best time to talk about it, but I had to still tell you. Well, I will still be nearby if you need anything. Leandros was just about to get up to leave when he reached out a hand from under the covers and pulled on his arm. Jake? I haven't dismissed you yet. You're right. I'm sorry. May I leave, Your Majesty? He poked your head out of the covers and shook your head, telling him no. You want me to stay? He didn't need to say anything else. Leandros sat back down and waited. Where? Sorry about that, y'all. Where will he be going? Your voice was muffled by the blankets, but you doubt that it likely hindered him in his heightened sense of hearing. Leandros closed his eyes as though lost in thought. To you, it only felt like yesterday that your father also spoke of leaving. He made plans to search for your mother, and you promised him to bring her back to you. It seemed as though everything was falling apart at the seams. Your kingdom, your sanity, your family. What could be so important that he had to leave you as well? I'm sure you've heard of the complicated situation around Old Dominia lately. The increased bandit attacks on towns and travelers, the ever-present confiscation of illegally imported goods. We had so much to do these last few weeks with the planning for the coronation that it was the last thing on our minds. It's been put off for so long that now it has come back to haunt us. We should have paid more close attention. The warning signs that something was wrong were there, yet we ignored them. I'll be leaving for Renero as soon as we land. It's my fault that things have gotten this way, and I must be the one to fix it. Okay, but why do you have to go? Why can't you send someone else in your place? I have, and I have yet to hear back from them. Not even Kashiro's scouts were able to find a trace of him. If you give them more time, I'm sure they could find something. Do you really have to go? Do you recall a man named Devereaux? You shook your head. I suppose it's been several years since he last visited the castle. You were really young when he first met you. He's a stern man with a sharp wit and a strict sense of duty, much like your father. Truth be told, they're near exact reflections of each other. He's the one that oversees Renero and the lands surrounding it, and has been weeks since I last heard from him. I sent letter after letter by pigeon after hearing of the rumors and problems that have been troubling the lands as of late, yet I received no reply. I wasn't able to leave the castle, so I hoped that a courier might have had a better chance. Not even a report was sent back. With the rumors that have been surrounding Renero as of late, I worry that something may have happened to him. He's one of our most powerful allies, and he is a dear friend of mine and your father. It's a reckless decision to leave you, I know, but I have to discover the truth myself. I can't rely on anyone else. Seems like a good place to save that. Yep. 1 second, y'all. Water time. Alright. We're going to support our boy. Right before we left the waiting room to attend the coronation, Father told me he was leaving as well. All I could think about was how betrayed I felt. I thought that after what occurred the day before, we could finally be able to spend time together again. That we could be a true family. For the first time in my life, I didn't want him to leave. But it's self-centered and selfish of me to continue to think this way. You're a person with desire, dreams, aspirations, just like me. If this is a path you must follow, then I won't hold you back. After all, I know the feeling of being held captive. Jake, you don't need my permission to go. Just promise you'll be safe. I promise. I won't be gone long. As soon as I sort things out, I will come back. I'm your sworn knight. I will not let anyone else take that place. Then I'll be waiting for your return along with good news. As your stomach growled, you realized that little else mattered right now except for getting some food. You turned to look at your food. It was likely lukewarm by now. As you reached over to pick up the spoon, it felt heavier than you were used to. Your fingers didn't seem to want to cooperate either. It slipped out of your hands. Gotcha! Leandros reached over and caught the utensil before it hit the floor. You tried to make a fist, but your fingers wouldn't close properly. It was as if the gods weren't done mocking you. Holding that spoon would have been impossible right now. You're still recovering. It might take a while for you to recover all of your functions. Leandros spooned a helping of the tepid soup and rose it up to you. Being fed like this, I'm in even worse shape than it looks. That is why you have me. Now then, this is the church and this is the steeple. I'm not a kid, you know. Open it up and let all the people in. Come on now, open up. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.